What's going on, y'all? Welcome in. This is Behind the Stream, episode 1. And man, do we have a show for you. We are going to be talking about a lot of things here, but listen, just know we're all here because we love films, and we're all here because I told you to be here. So I appreciate you being here for that reason, okay? We are here with Timashion. Nope. I fucked up his name, bro. Already. It's been 5 seconds into the show, and I've already fucked up his name. He told me before. Now, he might leave now because I messed up his name, but Timashion. I just want to say his name right, all right, before I bring him up here, because names are important, all right? Just like you know Uncle Manny, you know that names are important. All right? I just want to make sure that Timashion, right? If I'm getting the nod, do I get the nod?
Timashion.
Timashion, there we go. I don't know why I keep saying in. Timashion Jones is in the building with us. We are going to bring him up in just a second, but we are going to be talking about his film, Mirror of Deception, live right now on Tubi. So after this whole interview, go watch that movie. I've already given my review on it. Go watch that, and then, come back. I don't know. Do what you please. You know what I mean? It's a what is it? We're in a Tuesday. You know what else you got to do on a Tuesday? You know what I mean? But that being said, we are gonna bring him up here. If you are watching on YouTube or on Twitch, you can leave comments and questions, and those we'll pull them up on the stream for you guys to go ahead and interact with the show. I believe he is showing it to his Facebook, but I'm not sure. But that being said, listen, if you want to be part of the show, leave your questions down. We're going to watch the trailer, but first we're going to learn more about the man behind the movie. So without further ado, let's bring him up. What is happening, bro?
What up, though? Uncle Manny?
Listen, I apologize, bro. Like, we had a full conversation about your name, and like 5 seconds in, I screwed it up. But you know what?
It's all good, man. That's why I'm trying to make a name for myself, so it'll be common.
Hey, there you go.
Don't worry about it. One person at a time. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. And and pretty soon, if you keep going the way you're going, you will be a name that nobody gets wrong. You know what I mean? Except for certain people, but we can't help that. You know what I'm saying? They don't be thinking about that sometimes. But that being said, man, how are you, man? How's your day? I know you've been busy. Mirror Deception has been doing rounds all over social media. Yeah. It's been going crazy on Tubi and whatnot. So I'm pretty sure you've been a busy man, huh?
Yeah, man. I'm better than I deserve. You know what I'm saying? I am doing pretty good. I lost my voice on Friday, playing pickleball. And I was screaming and stuff. And then I went to a party on Saturday, and I had to talk over the DJ playing, put an extra strain on it. And so it kind of like came back yesterday. But, a little raspy. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully you still can hear me. But I'm good. Oh, yeah. I'm in a really good space right now, man. Really good.
That's good. That's important, man. Pickleball, bro. Like, I didn't know it could get that competitive. Like, I know back where I'm from in the Bronx, like, we play handball, and it gets pretty competitive, and we used to play, hours and hours of that. So I get how intense it can be, but I didn't realize you could lose your voice over pickleball.
Yeah, bro. Man. You start screaming and yelling, yeah, and all that stuff. It's a fun game, man. You gotta be into it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. At the end of the day, we got to dominate any sport that we set foot on, and sometimes it takes trash talking. You know what I mean? And so, trust me, I get it. You know what I mean? So, it's one of those things, man. But hey, I know that I brought you on here, and first of all, I want to say I appreciate you even saying yes to this. I've had a couple people say yes, and then things just didn't line up, and it just seemed like this was in the cards, as being the inaugural episode of Behind the Stream. I just want you to know that I appreciate your time, and I'm thankful for you even considering being on here. You know what I mean? I don't have a huge audience, so I humble myself every day when people say yes. So,
brother, like we got to start together. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, This time next year, your audience will be bigger. This time next year, my audience will be bigger. So you know what I'm saying? It's cool,
Oh
bro. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? I'm with it.
Oh,
I'm always rooting for the underdogs. You know what I'm saying? The people that don't nobody know. I'm like, yo, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
yeah, I appreciate you having me, give me the platform to be able to talk about my movie, man. My favorite movie of all time. You know?
Oh yeah, and you know what? That's what the whole point of this is, right? Is to get more exposure on Tubi movies, just or just in the indie filmmaking world in general. I want to change the narrative of the word Tubi movie. You know, a lot of people kind of they give a negative condensation when it comes to that, or or tone when it comes to that. And I don't think it's fair because I think a lot of people put their blood, sweat, and tears when it comes to this, and from the actors to the crew to the directors to the writers, like a lot of people use that platform to get their start. And I think that we need to kind of change that altogether. So I'm glad I'm able to do it one movie at a time. But you mentioned start, so you know what? Let's go right into that, man. How'd you start becoming a filmmaker? Like, when did you know that this was something that you wanted to do?
Well, when it started and when I've said this is something I want to do is years apart. You know what I'm saying? So I started in high school. I was a part of a film called Hanging High, and I was an actor in the film. So that's the first set that I was on. So I learned a little bit about like filmmaking and reading the script and how you kind of like cut the angles and all that stuff or whatever. It was a really good experience for me. So then once I graduated and got into college, I took up videography as a hobby. So I would videotape weddings, spoof videos, like a lot of people would be going in the stores now doing pranks or whatever. I was doing that back in 2002, you know what I'm saying? Like with my little
Right.
video, we would, dress up like people. Man, I had people, I dressed up like this poet from Cuba. I had corduroys on, and I had some people run up to me and act like I was famous, and I was shooing them off and signing their autograph. And the lady walked up like, "Who is he? Can you sign my arm?" I'm like this lady don't know who I am. You know what I'm saying? But like I was doing stuff like that like years ago. I remade the Last Dragon, called it the Last Detroit Dragon. I was just running around with a karate outfit on, a gi, at Belle Isle. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
but I was just doing it for fun. But I was learning how to edit. I was learning how to put music behind certain things or whatever. But that's like 2022. 2011 is when we shot our first film called "A Love That Hurts," and that's available on Tubi and YouTube. We got about 4 million views on YouTube right now, and that's when I got into it. Like when we actually made like our first film, and came out in 2013, and that's where I got to start. We made like 3 movies together. When I say we, I partnered with 2 brothers, a guy named Walter V. Marshall and Daryl Bradford Jr. We formed a company called Frame by Grace Films, and we put our money together, bought equipment, and started our video production company, our film production company, and we did 3 movies. And the first one was Love That Hurts. The second one was called Cody High. It was a documentary, and that one ended up getting like 3 Emmy awards. And the
Man,
main Emmy
congratulations.
award that it got was for Best Documentary in 2015. It's a regional Emmy, but an Emmy is still an Emmy. And
Right.
and then we made another movie that was even better. Life in Osborne. I mean, everything that we were doing was like really good. But 2014, 2015, 2016, we were really good at making movies. We weren't good at making money from those movies because DVD sales was going down while we were printing up DVDs trying to sell them out the trunk. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Like we going to Blu-ray, bro. We're doing, and then we kind of paused it for a little while. I started doing some films for some nonprofit organizations. I actually made 4 films for this nonprofit organization called the Union, and then they made it a curriculum. They put a curriculum alongside with the movie. So I did a movie on like teen suicide prevention. They had a curriculum to go talk about teen suicide prevention. They put them together. I did
Oh,
one
that's
on
dope.
sexual purity for young people to make smart decisions with their body, called Saving Chastity. I did one called Sticks and Stones, talking about anti-bullying. And then the last one
I
I
think I
did
heard
was
about that.
um, the Easy Path, talking about kids getting out the streets and hooking up with mentors, people that can kind of like mentor you along the process. So I did like 4 feature films, but those films are really pumping in schools. So they didn't necessarily get on Tubi or other platforms or whatever, but they are in schools as part of a curriculum program. So so now, I'm working on another documentary about a jazz musician. I'll talk about that a little later. But then I actually
Yeah.
did A Mirror of Deception, and that one just dropped, a little over a month ago.
Awesome, man. You had a journey. I feel like a lot of people have a there's like a long there's like a long road to where you're trying to go, right? And some people take shortcuts, some people don't. But like, I feel like we all kind of have the same kind of starting point. You know what I mean? Like, we watch a movie and we tend to kind of like what we see, and we want to like, hey, man, that's something that we could do. We don't really look at it as an art form in the beginning. We just like, man, we just love movies, and we just like, it's what it is. And sometimes we at the end of the day, we need to make money, right? So a lot of us kind of fall into that, wedding or photography aspect of it, and that's okay. It's just like that's like a means to an end, right? Like, and a lot of I feel also like, especially now, there's a lot that could be learned from that because things are becoming a lot more cinematic. They're you could tell stories when it comes to like even wedding videos and really kind of hone your craft while making some decent money. So it was cool that you were able to kind of do that within the schools, and it shows that you care. You know what I mean? So I could commend you on that, man. That's a dope route to go, and I think that's something that people watching, if they're aspiring filmmakers, is something that they could try to do. But yeah, let's talk about what was it like making like your first like indie film? Like, what were some challenges that you had?
The very first one, it
Well,
wasn't a lot.
let's look at Mirror Deception. Let's because this is the movie we're talking about today. So let's
Oh, okay. I was gonna go
yeah.
back to the Letter Hurts because that was challenging
Oh
because
yeah,
we didn't have like the blueprint. We didn't have a lot of people to go to. It's 2011, so
right.
like if you look at films on Tubi, it's a lot of Detroit movies. People from Detroit are really making a lot of movies. They weren't making a lot of movies in 2011. Some people started earlier than us, no doubt, but it was far and in between. So getting that knowledge and being able to just call up somebody, hey, let me come on set. You got a gaffer you can recommend, like that. It just wasn't there. So we had to learn how to do a lot of things ourselves, and we didn't have the budget. So we had to rely on our friends to make food for us, for craft services, to let us film in their houses. We couldn't rent a lot of the places, so it was a lot, but just like, it's a lot of stuff you don't know that you don't know when you're doing these films. And then when you get to editing, you're looking back like, man, I should have shot it this way because it won't cut right this way. So it's a lot of things that you learn, but one thing you can do is take all those lessons learned from that first movie, put some things in place to make sure you don't run into those same situations in your second movie. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I would encourage everybody to go out and just make a movie. Like regardless, it might be messed up. You may not show it to anybody, but go out and make a movie because you're going to learn something. And then you're going to become a better filmmaker once you apply those things to your next film, and then so forth, right? This is like my 15th film, Mirror Deception, between documentaries and narrative feature film. So I've learned a lot. So A Mirror Deception didn't just come out the way it is because this is my first time
Right.
doing it. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of stuff I had to learn in order to get to this point. You know,
No, you could
That's what
absolutely tell. We'll get into the trailer in a minute. I still want to touch on a couple things, but you could definitely tell, and I think anybody watching this will tell. Like, whoever did this knows exactly what they're doing. It definitely stands aside from a lot of movies that are not just on Tubi, just in everywhere. You know, uh, Prime got some terrible movies too, and nobody talks about them. You know what
there
I
you
mean?
go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right.
but
You're right.
You know what I mean? But it is what it
It's
is. You know,
universal.
we won't touch on that. But you know, it. What I do want to know is if you could talk about or walk us through your creative process when you started developing mirror deception. Like, what were some of the things that you thought about? What were some of the things that you had in mind from the beginning?
I mean, the very beginning was I was teaching a class on how to streamline your filmmaking process by utilizing AI. This is back in 2023, and AI was just, that summer it was just starting to like pop off. A lot of people was getting into Chat GPT and Mid Journey and all that. So I taught a class on how to utilize Chat GPT, Mid Journey on and streamline your filmmaking process. Also, I wanted them to walk away with being able to come up with a synopsis, a log line, and artwork for your pitch deck, and then be able to put together a pitch deck so you can go and get funding for your film. And with the use of ChatGPT, Mid Journey, and another app, Canva. With the use of Canva, I'm able to put together the flyer or the poster. And once we put that poster together, we came up with the poster of A Mirror Deception and the name of A Mirror Deception. And when I got home, it wasn't the movie that came out. Like, it was a lot of stuff that was different, but it had like a lot of the skeletons, bones of it. And when I sat back, I'm like, yo, I think I need to write this. I think I need to write this movie. And I started writing it in November. I wrote it from November 1st through the 24th, and I had a finished script. You know what I'm saying? I was writing every day. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? I gave it to my friends. I got some feedback from phenomenal filmmakers here in Detroit. And that's another thing. Like, now I got these relationships where I can send them my script. Hey, give me some feedback. And then they gave me a lot of stuff that if I'd have put that film out, it would not have been successful as it is now. So thank you to everybody that like gave me some feedback. So, but then I took the month of December to rewrite it. And then January, I went into full blown pre-production.
Wow. So all in all, from inception to pre-production, it was about 3 months,
Before
right?
I
Like, see,
from November to January was 2 months. I jumped into
okay.
pre-production in January, and then we end up shooting it in May. So
Wow.
once I
So
started
about what,
pre-production, yeah,
8 or 9 months or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I
I
literally
can't do
had to
math right
get.
now.
I didn't have any funding. I didn't have a dollar, bro, in January. I'm like, hey, we're shooting this in May, and we're gonna shoot it for 12 days. And I didn't have a dollar, bro. Like, I was like, all right, I put together my pitch deck, and I was trying to talk to investors, and my first
Right.
investor came through, gave me a small check, and I was like, this enough to get started. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, I was able to raise the money to get a shot.
How was that journey, man? Like, being able to, or having to basically get the money to do something that you want, that you had in your head, because you said that it was basically an idea from you teaching someone how to use these AI softwares and programs and whatnot, and it was just kind of like the universe was like, "Hey, man, you need to make this." So,
Mhm.
what was it like to kind of get that into play, like moving forward? Like, were there some challenges, and how did you kind of overcome that?
Man, I mean, it was fun, bro. Like, it was nerve wracking because I didn't have the money. That was like the biggest. Like, if somebody was to ask me, well, like, what makes you like stay up at night? It's because like I want to shoot this film a certain way, and I don't have the money to do it. Right. So, like, I've done movies for like less than $10,000. They're extremely hard to do, very taxing, extremely hard on the crew. Everybody has to work for free or little to nothing. You work super long hours. You don't have the resources. I've done movies for $20,000, $30,000. They are very hard to do. But I'm like, I want to be able to get the people that I want in this movie in front of the camera and get the people that I want behind the camera. And these people aren't the cheapest. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, I want to be able to make this movie for a certain amount. And it was a much bigger budget than my previous movies, but I felt that it was attainable. based off of what I was able to do. I wasn't going to mess anybody's money up. You can trust me because I know what I'm doing. And we got a dope concept with a dope crew and a dope cast I was able to put together. So, but once we got everything in place, man, it was fun, man. It was crazy because of the kind of movie it was. I had a lot of continuity concerns because you've seen the movie, so you know what I'm talking about. Because when you shooting these movies out of sequence, and we shooting out locations, I might have this person dress up this way, and this same person got to come back dressed up a different way, and if we don't get that right, we're gonna mess up the movie, So wardrobe, hair, style, the way that we shoot, like continuity was really big, man. And I wanted to make sure we got the continuity right because of the nature of this film. Other films won't have this continuity headache. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah. We're not trying to give no spoilers away, so we'll leave it at that. But we don't. A lot of people from low budget to high budget tend to forget about continuity. And for those who don't know what continuity is basically, let's say if I'm an actor and I'm walking into a scene and I use my left hand to pick up if I use my left hand to pick up this mug, right? And they've already liked the take and that's perfect and they want it. Or let's say we need to do something different. I need to make sure that I'm doing the exact same thing for the exact same moment using my same left hand. When people fail to realize continuity, the cup might change, my hand might change, maybe my hat is not backwards anymore, it's facing forward. So there's like a legit job on set called a script supervisor. They typically read over the script and they look at essentially what needs to happen during that scene and they make sure that it happens like that every single time. Unfortunately, a lot of low budget or micro budget films don't necessarily budget for that. So it takes a team to kind of remember that. And sometimes it falls on the director themselves to kind of remember what happened and stuff like that. So that is a very important job on set. A lot of people don't realize that. If you think I'm joking, just think about how much Tyler Perry movies get dragged because of the fact that he does this all the time. We're not gonna flame him in this. This is not for that, but he does this a lot. He has a lot of continuity issues, and it's one of those things that at his level he probably doesn't even care because he's making this money, and he's pumping these out like it ain't nothing. But that I'm going on a rant. Sorry about that. I wanted to give a shout out to everybody from YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, shout out to you. If you have any questions for us, leave them in the comments and we'll bring you up and we'll get you involved in the conversation here. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch, feel free to leave a comment and we'll get you up on here. But we could talk about budget all day long, but that's not really the meat and potatoes. That's not why we're here. Let's actually, you think it's time to watch the trailer? Let's get the people watching it, or
yeah, man. Hey, listen, man. I love showing this trailer, bro. This is my baby, man. So shout out to Ken Nelson who edited the trailer. He's amazing.
All right, let's get it. Let's do
it. I know you're shaking up right now, but by this time next year, we gonna be set for life. I ain't talking hood rich. I mean wealthy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to propose a toast to the woman of the hour, Keisha. Her passion has transformed real estate in this city.
So you're telling me at your age, you've amassed over $7 million in real estate? Girl, as a young black woman, you're not only breaking barriers, girl, you're demolishing them, okay?
I've been having memory blackouts. I don't remember clients. It's like parts of my days just vanish.
Was there something wrong with the clothes you bought for me?
No, everything was perfect.
Then tell me, dear, why did you come in and buy the same clothes all over again?
You are Keisha Bryant.
I'd like you to look at some old videos of yourself.
You are Keisha Bryant.
This don't make no damn sense.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with you, okay? You are Keisha Wright.
How could you live with that?
I swear I'm sorry.
There's no end until my victims get justice.
You are Keisha Wright.
I need to find out why this is happening to me.
You are Keisha Wright. You are Keisha Wright.
So you just gonna have a theme song, huh? You like, you know what? I'm gonna start this all strong because don't know over the Tubi movie have a theme song, bro. Like, talk about that. Like, what was the concept behind like creating a theme song for this movie?
Yeah, man. I mean, every movie start off with like, some kind of music, especially, in your Tubi movies, you always got to have these drone shots over showing the city with some music. Right. Sometimes it'd be like 5 minutes.
Bro.
But everything with this, I wanted to be purposeful. Like I wanted the song to have some meaning. So if you listen to the lyrics, it tells a story about like mirrors. You know what I'm saying? Like only showing you what it sees. It doesn't show you what you can be. You know what I'm saying? So, that's the mirror of deception. It shows you, what's in front of you, but it doesn't show you your potential. So, and I had my son, who's a producer and a singer, an actor. I'm like, yo, I need you to put together a song called Mirror Deception, and he put it together and he came back with some fire, and I helped him kind of like rewrite some of the lyrics because I wanted to cater it to the film and not just make it like just a rap, you know what I'm saying? But actually have some significance to what's going on in the film. And then my wife, Tavia, who sung on it, along with my daughter, Selah. So that's my whole family on the song. So that Mirror of Deception, that's my wife and my daughter singing, and then that's my son doing the chorus and the rap, and that's it, man.
That's dope.
And it's on Apple Music, it's on Spotify, it's on YouTube. He's a registered artist, you know what I'm saying? So it's out there, bro. Mirror Deception. You can actually listen to the whole song on Apple Music.
But we got a comment from YouTube here. It says, "Okay, start the popcorn. That looks good. I gotta check it out."
Oh,
look at that. They already. That's like
why we here, bro.
Thing.
That's why we here.
Let's go, baby. We got another viewer. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. We out here. Another person enjoy this great movie. It's dope that you got the family involved. That is also another way to kind of, save a little money and just to get exposure for people who have a, want or drive to want to do that, right? Like, let's say your wife wants to be a singer, your son wants to be a producer. Like, that's ways that they can kind of get more exposure and more experience doing it. Now they can say they've been in a movie or they've, been in the music for a movie. So that's dope on your part, man. Not a lot of people think like that. So it really shows that, like you said, you were very intentional about what you did. And it's a song that stays in your head no matter how long. Like when I was done with, I had to cut it out, but I had an outtake when I did the review, and I'm like humming, like I'm like, man, that song is just stuck in my head now, bro. So well done on
it's
on
catchy, man.
part,
it is, and that's what it did everything that we wanted it to do. It sounded good, and it was catchy, and I was like floored when I heard it. I'm like, yo, I mean, the kid he's amazing. I mean, he got his own clothing brand too. Like if you look at the first scene, Marcel had on the Messenger shirt underneath his jacket. You know what I'm saying? That's my son's brand, called the Messenger brand. So he sells clothing and does music and teaches kids piano. You know what I'm saying? He's a great kid,
Well, see that, and that's another thing, man. You gotta reach out to your local, I'm sure you there's a local shop in there that I'm pretty sure you asked the owner. Like you highlighted a lot of Detroit in the movie, a lot of Detroit that most people don't highlight, and you did it in a very unique way. Like how'd you go about doing that? I kind of guessed that it was like kind of using social capital, kind of asking for favors and finding out who does what and how you can kind of use that for your advantage. But I would love to hear And I'm pretty sure people watching would love to know how'd you manage to get a yacht in the Detroit River?
Hey, one of my mentors told me that the speed of my business and entrepreneurship will travel at the speed of my relationships. And everything that I did for this film, I mean, if we didn't just pay for it, it came through relationships. You know, we've been in the game for since 2011, you know, and people have resources. Now, the thing about the yacht, I knew I had access to the yacht before I wrote the script, you know, so I wrote the script with the yacht in mind, you know, so it's like the production value of the piece, like you find out what you have and you kind of write it in, you know. Like I knew I got access to, like, you know, barbershops and restaurants, and okay, well, cool. Well, you know, I went to Ethiopia in 2017. I got a fabulous relationship with Ethiopians. Bam. Hey, I don't want a chicken wing restaurant in the Detroit. Like, no, let's go to the Ethiopian restaurant. You know, let's take it up a notch. You know what I'm saying? So, like, the stuff that I had access to, the houses that we had access to, all came through relationships. It wasn't one Airbnb that we bought, that we paid for to rent out. It was people, you know, just rolling out the red carpet and allowing us to film in their homes. You know,
man. Well, shout out to those people, man, because you are the reason why a lot of indie filmmakers can make the movies that they want to make. They can show the locations that they want to show, and you know, indie filmmakers don't have access to build sets like big high budget films do. You know, they don't have the ability to build, you know, makeshift mansions. At the end of the day, like, you allowing someone and believing in someone, I should say, to allow them to use your home or your business in exchange of just being shouted out or just for the love of what that person is doing goes a huge way, long way, you know. And honestly, if you're watching this, shout out to you guys. And for those of you who are trying to make movies, make sure that you utilize your social capital. People, all you got to do is ask. A lot of the times, the worst that someone can say is no. Or they'll, you know, even if they don't say no, they'll give you some type of stipulation. Like, hey, I can let you use it, but you got 3 hours. Or you got, like, you know, I can give you got to come after hours, so you got to shoot at night. And then sometimes you might have to change that scene. So maybe it's a daytime scene. Now it becomes a night scene because guess what? That's what you are given. So you kind of have to kind of roll with the punches there. So keep that in your arsenal when it comes to making these films. You know what I mean? Like,
definitely.
My question that I wanted to ask was, how did you balance, like, maintaining the artistic vision with the expectations of, you know, putting it on Tubi? Like, did you even, like, was that always a thing? Like, you said, you know what, I'm making this movie and we're putting it on Tubi.
I mean, okay. When I first set out to do the movie, I wanted to make a movie. Like, I didn't make the movie for Tubi. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like, I didn't say I'm gonna take this movie, put it on Tubi. I wanted to make a movie that was good enough that people would feel okay with buying. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a movie's on Tubi because people won't buy it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, I want to make a movie that's good enough where people will feel comfortable paying money to see this movie, right? And then also, I want to make a movie that if you know, a major platform says they want to get this movie, it will be able to stand up to the rest of the films that they have on their platform. You follow what I'm saying? So, you know, but as I began to try to, like, navigate those waters and talking to, like, these people on these platforms, and they kept on having the same questions like, hey, who's in the movie? You know, what stars do you have attached? What is and that? And they won't even watch the movie because so-and-so isn't in the movie. You know, and I'm like, you know, so, like, at a point in time, I got to be like, you know what? I'm going to just go ahead, sign with my distributor. We're going to go ahead and get it put on Prime, get it put on Tubi, because at the end of the day, I got to be able to make enough money to pay for the film as well as finance the next film and be able to, you know, feed these kids and stuff that I got. You know what I'm saying? You know, I got a household I got to take care of. So at the end of the day, I'm like, well, look, I'm not about to wait a whole year to put it in a film festival circuit. I'm not about to, you know, wait on you to figure out what you want to do with this movie and have somebody look at it and wait another 8 to 10 months. Like I don't have that time. Not with this because I put, with the investors that I had, then I put my own money into it. So my money is tied into it. So I'm like, well, look, let's put it on Tubi. And once the money come in from Tubi, then hopefully we can get it put on other platforms. And it end up doing, pretty decent on Tubi. And when people, like, I don't mind people calling it a Tubi movie because it's on Tubi. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they say, yeah, it's a good Tubi movie. Well, at least you're calling it a good Tubi movie.
Right.
Well,
listen, first, hold on. Don't just go and say it did all right. Okay, you were trending on Tubi for like a week at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So don't just brush off of that. You know what I mean? Like let's accept the accomplishment. It's okay to go a little bit. You feel me? I know you like to be humble. I get it. I'm the same way, but nah, man, that's a successful film. People are talking about it. People watched it. You had hundreds of thousands of people who watched it. You had, people commenting that they want a second one. That's what you want. That's the making of
man.
A great
and
film,
I'm appreciative of all that, man. And it's been in most, for those who don't know, like on Tubi, if your film is in most popular, that means it's like 25,000 films on Tubi, and it's like the top 200 films are in most popular. And my film, our film, Married to Deception, has been the most popular. It's been in and out. It's like it fall out for 2 days, come back, but over the last, 37 days, it's been the most popular at least 30 days, and it was out of most popular 2 days ago. It's back in most popular now. So, I'm just thankful that people liked the movie, resonated with it. People were doing skits on the movie, like they did a review and they was dressed up and talk up. I'm like, what? So it's just a joy to see people like love this thing, man. And you know what? A lot of people that are watching this right now, I need you to share it. Like share this out to everybody, especially other filmmakers who need to hear this information. Aspiring filmmakers that's in the game, people that you love, go ahead and share it.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Like, what do you think makes people do those things? Like, I'm pretty sure you didn't really expect that to be the thing, right? Like, so what do you think about the film is like making people want to do skits and resonating with people to the point where they're doing reviews, they're talking about the film amongst their friends and Facebook groups and wanting you to hurry up and make the second one. What are some things that you think is really resonating with that, and what do you think will be the cause of that?
I think the first thing is you got to have a movie with a good story. Like it got to be a good movie. You know what I'm saying? And whether it's low budget or high budget, that's the running theme or the main concern that it needs to have. It has to have a good story, and it has to be a good movie. And so people they like the movie, and that's what motivate them to kind of like want to share and tell somebody. Like if you have a good meal and you were treated very well in the restaurant, more than likely you're going to share that experience with your friends. Say, hey, have you tried this restaurant? It was good. It was amazing. But if you go there with an average experience, people are not going to be excited about sharing that restaurant, right? So I think that people love the movie. They like the creativity and the angles and the twist and all that stuff. And and people are sharing it, so yeah, man.
You know what? That is a beautiful thing. I think that's a very much a trademark. Trademark. That's very much something that you can look at and be like, man, I think I got something here. You know what I mean? Like, being popular and on the platform is a great accomplishment. But when people start to replicate something and they start to really like, oh, I need a second part. I need it. Now it's like there's a need for that content. There's a need for that type of film, So I think congratulations on that. You know what I mean? I definitely, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, I gotta leave a review on it. I think I felt like it deserved to be talked about more. Because. That's when you have, like you said, when you have a good experience and you have something that you really like, you gotta give positive feedback on it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
So now talking about how Tubi is and how it differs from, like you said, the other streaming platforms that wanted a big name to it. Like, in what ways do you believe like Tubi's platform is changing filmmaking, and what opportunities does this create for like emerging directors?
I mean, like it's amazing, bro. Like, so all the red tape when people asking all kind of questions, all these gatekeepers saying, who's this and who's that, and like Tubi is like, look, meet these certain quality standards. They do have quality standards. They were very relaxed before. They kind of tightened up on them now, but it's kind of like leveling the playing field. And if I can put out a movie, and I literally can bring back some finances to be able to make more movie and support ourselves, like that's all we can really like hope for. Like that's helping us out. Excuse me, because without this, it'd be real hard for Detroit filmmakers to really maintain the lifestyles that they do without Tubi. Like if Tubi goes away, we'd be in some trouble. We have some other things that we can kind of like push, but right now, like we definitely need them to continue to do what they're doing, And I like Tubi. They're all right with me.
Oh yeah, I bet, man.
It's a Tubi movie. I love it. I love Tubi. Tubi, you cool with me.
They gave you a chance, and and that's all you can really ask for, from a lot of these platforms, from a lot of these places, So that's dope. Was now thinking about your next film, or matter of fact, no, not we're not getting to that question yet. So, what can you share a like pivotal moment during production that reshaped your perspective on the project, if there was any?
A pivotal moment. I think the moment it had to be like our first day. The first day we shot the coffee shop scenes, and then we shot the podcast scene. Like we moved to a location, we shot the podcast scene, and when we, everything came together with the wardrobe, with the people, the makeup, the acting, the way we shot it. I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, yo, this is amazing. So yeah, man. I think the first day when everything started to come together, because in pre-production I met with every department head. I'm like, yo, the wardrobe need to be this. We went and bought clothes. We went to the boutique. The boutique that we went to the film in, I bought wardrobe from that boutique. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to support the people that were supporting us.
Absolutely.
And the people that did the art, I met with them. This is what the art looked like. And then I was like, look, what outfits are we going to have? Then what is the setting going to be like? What is the scene? Where is it? What color are the walls? Does the wall contrast with the color that they're wearing? Like all that stuff went into effect, right? So we knew going into it what they were going to wear and what it was going to look like. But when it all came together, Manny, when it all came together, bro, on day one, we all were kind of like, this is about to be dope, And then we got into day 2 and 3, and then it just got better and better. And we're like, and then, the first day, the crew's still trying to learn each other. They don't really mesh until like day 3. Once day 3 hit, then they get tighter, and then they got even better. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man. Day 1 when it all came together, and yeah, it was dope. It was fuego, is what we call it.
No, you know what? And that's like I hear you talk about that, about everything kind of meshing together, and it's like, it's like Lego pieces falling into place. I'm a big dude. I love eating, so I usually, reference food. My analogy is like when a nice cake comes together and it has all the toppings. You see things go from flour and eggs, and you see it. Once you put it in the oven, you pop it out, and it becomes a full cake. You're like, man, this looks great. This looks, like something that we're gonna be full from and be well nourished. You know what I mean? So I can totally appreciate that, man. There's been times when I've been on set where being a part of the crew and you're like, man, like people are yelling at you. Not saying this happened on your set, but things are happening. Like people are yelling, people are running, people are everybody's got different emotions. But then it's like, okay, everybody settle. It's time to go for a take, and you see the action play out, and you're looking at Video Village. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's just a screen that the director can look at. Directors and producers can watch the film as it's being shown out. But when you get to that point, you look at Video Village and you're seeing everything play, and you're like, man, it was all worth it. You know what I mean? It was worth standing around for a couple hours or moving around like madmen and women to get this light put this way, or to block out this light, or to lay down this track or whatnot. It really can come together, like you said, and make you feel like, man, this is something. Now, when speaking of the crew and everything, and how you said everyone was about 3 days in, they were like, still learning each other. Like, what were some strategies aside from the pre-production meetings? Like, what were some strategies that you used to foster, collaboration among the creative team to ensure that your vision was effectively communicated?
Well, I wanted everybody to be aware what we were trying to do. You know what I'm saying? We were trying to make the best movie that's ever came out of Detroit. That's what we were trying to do. I mean, that's the audience, be the judge of that or whatever. But that was our goal, right? But every single scene had to be dope. And when I say it was dope, I would ask the question, did everybody think that this take was dope? Like I can take it as a director and say, yeah, it's dope. We moving on. But I would say, I think it's dope. What about y'all? And somebody would be like, hey, I don't think it was in focus at this point. Well, let's shoot it again. Let's make sure. Then when I look around and everybody was like, oh, that's dope. Then we move on. So the thing is, I had to listen to the PAs. Everybody had a say-so in this piece. So it was a collective thing. Of course, I'm leading the ship. I can go ahead and choose to move on, but it's a collaborative effort because I want this to be a film that everybody is proud to say that they're a part of, right? Like when you put this on your IMDb, known for a mirror deception. I want everybody from the PA to the actors to the DP, everybody to want to be known for a mirror deception. So if that's the case, you got to have your input. And I only wanted the best that I can find, and I got them and they gave me some really good feedback. And I took some stuff I changed. I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Let's do that. You know what I'm saying? Like it takes a collaborative effort to make that happen, especially when you got a really dope creator, because the majority of the people that was on my set could direct in other films. Like they could actually be the director on their own films, but they're playing a specific role on my set. So, we definitely collaborated in that regard.
Yeah, that's a very unique thing that I'm hearing for the set, because like, I don't know if you know that don't happen. You know what I mean? Like that's not something that happens on every set. A lot of that's a very unique thing, and I think that you can tell that it definitely helped the process move along. A lot of people don't think like that. You know what I mean? The most that they will do is probably take the input of like the gaffer, if you're the DP, or the director will take the input of a DP, and it's to get everyone, even from the PAs, that's a very special thing, So shout out to you for doing that, because that takes a lot of trust, because you potentially could have very long days, because if one person didn't think,
it's a quick process. It was, it wasn't like it was everybody vote and all that stuff. I said, hey, that was dope. What y'all think? And then they say, oh, this happened. Then I'll be like, okay, let me watch replay. And some stuff that they brought up, I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna cut around that. We're gonna move on. You know what I'm saying? It's like, but don't wait till we get to the editing to say, oh yeah, I was gonna point that out. No, point it out right now. We're not about to fix it in post. We want to fix it in prep. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna fix this thing right now, right?
Yeah,
so
fix it in pre, bro. Fix it in pre, save you a lot of money.
Say something. You know what I'm saying? So that, but man, man, if I can get that same crew to do all my movies all the time, we would do it, bro. Like that was a beautiful group of people.
You know what? That's the good thing about filmmaking, right? Is like you get to pick and choose who you want to work with. You know what I mean? And with the success of this movie, like they see that this crew put together great, like that very well could be a thing that you can bring those people back for the second one,
Oh
or
yeah,
whatever
yeah,
other
yeah.
projects you got going on, man. They do it all the
Sure.
time in big Hollywood. So,
Yeah,
man, yeah,
and a lot of them
I'm
I've
happy
worked
for you.
with before too. So it's a lot of familiarity. But yeah, it's just we family.
Hell yeah, man, and that's the goal, right? Is creating that family bond when it comes to making the movie on set, right? Because if you don't have that, it can really cause you as a director to lose focus on what you're trying to do because you're worried about how this person is feeling, or you're worried about how these two people can't work together. So having that mesh well is something that is important. So shout out to you for even putting that together, man, because that ultimately you're the person that signed off on that. So ultimately, that is kudos to you. What was it? What was that like picking? Like, what did you look for picking your crew?
Man, so I kind of like go to a lot of film sets here in Detroit, and I just sit back quietly and I observe. I observe who show up on time. I observe who hustles. I observe who solve problems, who kind of like go over and above, and who are like really good at what they do, how they carry themselves, And you got to be dope at what you do, and you got to show up. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to be able to collaborate with other people. And so I've been to a lot of sets, and I meet a lot of people, and then I'm like, oh, hey, let's try this person out, on another project, see what they do. Everybody that we work with on the crew wise is probably, I mean, I want to say 90% of the people is people I've already worked with, or you know what I'm saying. I work with on other sets, and I brought them on, So, but I'm looking for people who hustle, who smart, who care about what they do. Like if you like, I mean, you can tell a lot by like the way people carry themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like
For real.
if you look like you care about yourself, you may care about the work that you do. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And the people that we had on the crew, man, they all care and wanted what was best for this film. And that's really what I really wanted. The people that actually cared about this stuff and not doing it. Oh yeah, let me get this bag. Let me just, no, right. Let's make a dope movie,
Because that can definitely get to that point. Like people can get to that, sometimes, and it's just part of the business. You know what I mean? You look at it as a job. Some people really fall in love with the projects that they work on. So it's one of those things, But I want to if you're watching, also again, if you're watching on Facebook and YouTube or Twitch, and you want to give us some questions, you want to get involved in the conversation, feel free to leave a comment. Maybe there's something that you saw in the trailer, or maybe you want to know a little bit more about the film. We're going to talk a little bit more about it. I don't want to give any spoilers away, even though I love the movie and I want to talk about it. It's one of those movies that you have to watch because I don't want to I just really don't want to spoil it for you. You know what I mean? So if you have any questions, if you're an aspiring filmmaker or director, or just even somebody who wants to get their foot in the door, leave a comment. We'll talk about it and we'll try to help you out, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about fostering new relationships and also helping the future, get into this world, man. Because it's something that a lot of times you need someone to be like, hey, man, come on. You need that person that's visiting the set to believe in you and to see like, man, you're a hard worker. You're somebody who hustles. I've gotten jobs like that where I wasn't even involved in the production. I was just there because my wife was there doing makeup, and I was like, you know what? I know what it is to be a man down, so let me help. I'm not doing nothing, and that's one of those things that helped me get into the next job. So if you're out there and you're trying to be in the film world, look for that, man. Look for sets, and you're gonna have to do stuff for free sometimes, but just know that it does pay off. You learn through the experience and be willing to take advice and be open to making mistakes and also learning from them. That's the best thing that I can do. Best advice that I can give you. Speaking of advice, one of the questions I wanted to ask was, what advice would you offer aspiring directors looking to break into the film world today?
Um, I would first start by asking, why is it that they want to do this? Because this isn't for just for anybody. Like, why would you put yourself through this kind of torture? You know what I'm saying? Like if it's for the money, you might run into an issue. Like it needs to be for the love. Like I love this stuff. Like I was making movies for free. I was working on sets for free. You know what I'm saying? Like if I can pick anything to do, like it would be making movies. You know what I'm saying? So like you got to ask yourself, do you really want to do this thing? Second, you got to educate yourself. And I don't care if you go to school, I don't care if you read books, I don't care if you sit up under some people. But excuse me, you got to get on a film set. Being on a film set, working, helping out, learning, sitting up under, a director, and like that goes a long way. That experience, you can get it from a book, you can get it from somebody teaching you, you know what I'm saying? Or you can just go out and just figure it out, and do it yourself. Go out and make your own movie or short film. But like I would advise you to definitely get with somebody that's already done it and work with them and see what they can do as far as helping you along the way. You need some mentors in this game.
Absolutely. I think mentorship itself is underrated, man. There's been so many times that I've had a mentor that I didn't even think they were my mentor at the time, but now that I think about it, I'm like, man, they were really showing me the ways. I came up in Detroit filmmaking, so and back when I was coming up, there wasn't a lot of people who looked like me. You know what I mean? Now things have changed, and it's a beautiful thing to see that there's a lot of different faces and different minds, I should say, that are in kind of in the world now, and it's a beautiful thing, But when you look back and you say, hey man, like I could have did this better, or you like you said, mentorship is very, very important, man, because you in the filmmaking world, people a lot of times won't tell you what you did wrong. They won't hire you again. You know what I'm saying? And and that's pretty much how you learn. You're like, well, I guess I must have screwed that up because I'm not on any more sets. You know what I mean? It's just a part of the industry in itself, So when you find somebody who can tell you like, hey, hey man, don't do it that way, or like, hey, pick up this book, or hey, pay attention to what I'm doing, like. When you have somebody who takes the time to do that, you got to really cherish that and make sure you show up for them. That's a really good key is make sure you show up. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people get these opportunities and they don't show up for them. And that shoots them in the foot a lot of times. And you'd be surprised where that can go. You might think that it's not an opportunity, but then you go or you don't go, and you realize like, oh damn! Next thing you know, that person is filming, some big. For example, you get called to do, to go to Mirror of Deception 2 day one, and then all of a sudden, they're filming and you don't show up because for whatever reason the night before you got drunk or whatever. You're like, whatever, it's just an indie film, I don't care. But then you see on Instagram or all the social media that Denzel Washington decided to be in the film because he saw what everything was happening. Or like your favorite, whoever was just like, you know what, let me do this scene real quick. And you miss out on that beautiful experience simply because you didn't show up. So my advice is show up before you show out. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that I could say on that, Sorry, I go on rants, bro. It's one of those things that that's why I talk. That's why I do this, because I like to talk. So sorry, I saw you laughing in the green room and all that, but it's true, bro. Like,
I'm laughing, bro, because it happened to me, man. I worked on the project, man, and they were like, "Yo, we love your work, man." And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "We got more films we're gonna do." And next thing you know, they started building the films, and they were actually filming. I'm like, I didn't get a call. You know what I'm saying? Like, until this day, nobody would tell me what I did. Like, you know what I'm saying? And they looking like, oh man, it's not like that. I'm like, something happened. You know what I'm saying? But,
right.
you know, it happens, bro. Like me, I will pull somebody aside, like, look, this is what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
No, 100%.
I fire people with a smile, and if you change up, you know, I might give you an opportunity to redeem yourself. You know what I'm saying? Which I have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it honestly, bro, it's sometimes it's, you know, we're getting into a tangent, but like sometimes it's little things like you simply said no, or you didn't like the way you know made your coffee. Like it's stupid things sometimes.
Yeah,
It's not even like work related. It could literally just be like, you know, they wanted their friend to be on it, so they found a reason. You know what I mean? And it's just
whatever. Yeah.
one of those things. Like it's just the way the film scene in general is, and I despise it, but I understand that people want to work with who they want to work with. I get it, but it's like, bro, like how do you expect people to learn, especially if they're new and they're just getting started? You know, how do you expect them to learn without allowing them grace to make a mistake, or you know, or even understand like, yo, like this is what it is, you know? But again, we're digressing. You know what I mean? Is there something about Mirror of Deception that you want to let people know before they go watch it? Or, you know, I don't want, like I said, I don't want to spoil anything. Do you think there's stuff that we could talk about? You know, like talk about your movie, bro. Talk your shit, bro.
Well, Mirror Deception is free to watch on Tubi. You don't have to pay for it, but you got to pay attention. It's one of those films where everything that we put into the film has a payoff. So those little things that you think are insignificant, don't look past them. You know, understand, observe, and then you know watch it. And I made this movie because like I wanted people to watch it a certain way when they watch it the first time, but then when they watch it again, they're watching a totally different movie because now they understand the whole story. You know, and I studied like, you know, Sixth Sense and Get Out, like Unusual Suspect, like a whole bunch of different films that like, wait a minute, what are we watching? And then eventually like, oh, so when you watch it again, it's like a much better experience. So I would definitely say pay attention, watch it, enjoy it. You know, try to guess. You can guess what you think it is because I want you to guess. I want you to kind of like figure it out. But I also want you to be honest when you were wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want you to be honest when you were wrong, you know. But and also just, you know, show some love to the film by sharing, talking about it, telling your friends about it, because we don't have like that budget to kind of like spread it out and do advertising and key billboards, marquees and stuff like that. But we do have the ability to like share it with our friends and family out of town, in town, and you know, have a good experience, man. I think it's a very well made movie. I don't think I could have made a better movie given the time and the money that I had. Like we left it all on the court. Like we literally gave it our all. You know, like you gave us some more money and some more time, we probably could have improved it. But based off what we had, we did it as best as we could do. And I think that was good enough because I like it, and the people that did it, we like it. And then as you can see, the audience are resonating with it as well.
Absolutely. I just looked over at your Facebook and people are going crazy. You know, Eddie Kane says one of the best directors he's ever worked with. So that's a huge thing, bro.
Man, you know Eddie Kane. You know Eddie Kane, man. That was the father. That was Keisha's father.
Okay.
Yeah,
What up, Eddie? What's happening, bro?
Yeah. So Eddie.
Hey,
so
how
look,
could you do this, bro?
Let me tell you about Eddie, man.
Hold on, bro. Hold on. Hey, yo, Eddie, how could you do that, bro? How could you do that? That's all I'm gonna say, bro. Nah, me and you got beef, bro. Me and you got beef. There's no reason for you to be doing that, all right? That's all I'm gonna say. My bad. Go ahead.
Hey, man. So it was a couple things with Eddie, man. I'm like, look, bro, I'm gonna need you to cry in this scene. He like, man, I'm a gangster, dog. I don't cry. I don't cry no movies. And some stuff was happening, bro. And like, you know, we got into it, man. And I'm like, all right, we on a close-up shot. I walked over to him like, yo, bro, if it's any time that you can squeeze out one of them thug tears, now is the time to do it.
Right.
And my man was like, I got you. And we gave him a couple seconds. He was like, I'm ready. And next thing you know, bro, like those tears that he was crying, it was his tears. You know what I'm saying? Like he literally popped out and he said that was the first time that he ever did it. And I'm like, yo, man, it was such a moving scene. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then I told him, I said, when you come in the door, you know, on another scene, you know, I want you to dance. You know, gangsters don't dance. You know, we boogie. And I'm like, look, dog, you know what I'm saying? Can we give some love to Detroit? You know what I'm saying? Can we get some love to Detroit? And that's what he did. He came in and did that. So it's like Eddie Kane, man. Everybody in the D, you know, they love him, man. And I literally wanted him specifically for this project. I reached out to him like, yo, bro, I need you to do this. Dude told me that he felt he looked too young to be Keisha's father. So we had to give him a beard, you know what I'm saying? So we had to put a different beard on the man, you know what I'm saying? So I like, look, bro, whatever it takes to get you in the movie, bro, that's what we're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? We had Candace hook it up, who's one of the best makeup artists out here in the game, man. She put this beard on him and he was clean. He literally wore it. Like after he left set, he said he wore it for a couple of days. You know what I'm saying?
He was feeling himself. He was feeling himself. I see.
Yeah, everybody. You know what I'm saying? June had a beard too. We put his beard. His beard wasn't real. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, you know, it was.
Oh man, bro, what are you doing? You met? No, I was kidding. You know what? I love filmmaking because of that, bro. Like, you know, even the fact that he felt comfortable with expressing that he felt a certain way, it allowed you to make the necessary change. That honestly could have been the deciding factor for the movie, you know, to be more believable, like you said, the continuity aspect of it, you know. So shout out to you again for listening to your actor, you know, listening to the people that are around you and allowing them to kind of, you know, facilitate their ideas as well. You know, that says a lot about who you are, not only as a filmmaker, but as, you know, as a human being, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those things, bro. Like it doesn't exist. So shout out to you for making it happen. You know,
appreciate it, bro. It's collaborative effort, man. Collaborative effort.
And I know you posted on Facebook that you started writing part 2. Is that something you want to share with everybody right now? I mean, you posted it on Facebook, so I'm not leaking nothing.
Look, I posted the cover page for the script, which is A Mirror Deception 2 on the way. And that's all I can say at this point. That's all I can say is on the way. You're probably gonna shoot it next year. You know what I'm saying? Definitely won't be this year. I got a lot of stuff in the works, but I definitely think we can shoot this next year.
Well, listen, man, I really do appreciate everybody watching from YouTube, Twitch, Facebook. I appreciate you being a part of this. I don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about with the movie. If we can. Like I said, I really do appreciate the fact that you took the time. One thing I did want to mention was shout out to you for you're like one of the first Tubi movies that I saw that had like a Hispanic speaking role. And I don't think a lot of people like picked up, like when you watch the film, it's like very subtle, but I picked up on it and I'm like, bro, can we get some more Latinos in these films, bro? Because listen, I'm gonna go on my rant real quick because this is something that needs to be said, okay? Just listen, you can't sit there and tell me that you guys don't have Latino friends, bro. Like, I know y'all do. I'm one of those friends. You feel me? Like, I'm not saying put me in a movie. I'm just saying, like, bro, can we you know, get some love out here? You know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. There's a very diverse community out there. Like, show us some love. We can act. We can do things. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those things, you know? But listen, I love the fact that you put the photographer in there. I peeped that, and that's really one of those things that I was like, bro, that's what's up. Like, I like that little, you know, that little small detail that you put in there, man. Like, was that a specific reason, or you just kind of like, I don't know, like what made you do that?
Everything we put in the movie is a reason, you know.
Okay.
So if you picked up on it, what did he say?
I'm gonna be honest with you. What I heard was how he was directing her to take when he was taking the photo and whatnot. I can't remember. The last thing that he said because I know it was something that was like it was like put in there, you
Okay,
know.
all
But
right. Well,
I don't want to give it away.
no. I'm just saying, like, I'm okay with you telling me what he said, but right now you can't tell me what he said. So until we find out what he said, then you'll understand why it's in the movie. And I didn't put that in closed captions. I just said speaking Spanish because I wanted that to be specifically for people who understood Spanish that would be able to explain or be able to have that moment with this film. You know what I'm saying? It's like it wasn't for everybody, you know, but it was for people that understood Spanish.
That's good. You know what? I applaud you for doing that, bro. Straight up, because like I said, you know how many Tubi movies I watch, and I'm just like, bro, where the people where you got a Jesus around there somewhere, bro. You got, you know what I'm saying, Julio, like this. We're out here, bro. You got a Manny. I know for a fact you got a Manny. Every friend has one. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I mean, bro. You know what I mean? I'm that's another part of my mission. We gonna get more people like me on your set, you know? But listen, man, again, I appreciate your time. I appreciate everybody watching. Look, we got somebody we got somebody on YouTube said, okay, I'm gonna figure out this mystery. So I'll be watching it tonight for sure. Again,
Appreciate
who knows?
it.
Maybe I'll give it a better grade. You know what I'm saying? But
hey, I think on the second watch, you watch it, you appreciate what we did because you know, certain movies when you watch it again, like I literally thought Get Out was a better movie when I watched it the second time. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't like it or whatever, but it was much better the second time because I appreciated the nuances and things that he put into it. So I would definitely say give it another watch. Also, bro, if you're in the Detroit area, you know, we got a Detroit Filmmakers Award on April 27th, downtown Detroit. And
yes, I wanted to touch on that because you guys are nominated for like a few awards, right? One of them is like best feature film, I think.
Yeah, for best feature film, we nominated for best leading actress, which is Michaela Lenani. We nominated for Eddie Kane, best supporting actor. You know,
go Eddie.
And we're nominated for best editor, best editing in the feature film, Ken Nelson, and then we also nominated for best cinematography, Jeremy Brockman, which is like the best cinematographer that I know that's in this area, and he is amazing, and I enjoy working. And the brother is like down to earth, like really care about what he does. You know what I'm saying? He's really dope. So, but we were nominated for all that stuff, and I don't think we get nominated for all these things if we would have rushed and did this thing. Let's hurry up and pop a movie out. Like we literally took our time, shot it in 13 days, gave the time that we needed to set it up and light it and do it, and actors the prep work that they needed. And I think that, you know, we end up with getting what we got, and I'm very excited about what we ended up with.
Hell yeah, bro! Congratulations on that. I'm gonna try to come out. I definitely am.
Yeah,
I think it's a black tie event.
Detroit Filmmakers Awards.com or something like that, or just look it up. But you got to get your ticket. You know, it'll be good because all the Detroit films, like we all going to be there. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to kind of like network and maybe get into some films, you know, let them introduce yourself to it. You know, let them see a Manny. You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
right? You know what I'm saying, bro? You know, you feel me, man. You feel me, bro? Like this, we out here, bro. Like yes, we out here. There's some talent all over Detroit, Southwest, West Side, East Side. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a bunch of talent everywhere. We gotta, you know, I don't know if you know, but Detroit is one of the top places that Tubi movies actually come from. Detroit and Atlanta are like the top two mecca, so to speak, of where Tubi movies actually are filmed and you know, about basically. So that says a thing in itself. You know what I mean? But yo, I appreciate you. I'm going to try to make it out today. I know it's a black tie event, which means I have to buy a tie. But you know what I mean? It's one of those things like, I will definitely try to make it, man. Congratulations on your success. Congratulations on the success of the movie. I cannot wait to see part 2. Hopefully, you know, when you're shooting it, maybe I can show up, you know what I'm saying? You know, kind of show a little bit of behind the scenes. I know you had a lot of behind the scenes for this movie. which again I thought was amazing. Like people don't do that.
I got more, bro. I got a whole bunch more, bro.
Bro, people don't do that. Like they don't. You know that nobody does that. They don't put together vignettes of their actors talking about how they feel in the movie. Like that's thinking big budget. You know, that's somebody who like when you look at this and that and that context around all of that media that's going for the film. If I'm somebody who is in a production company that's big high up, I'm looking at that. I'm like, bro, that they really thought about it. You know what I mean? They already have the formula. I just need to just be like, here you go. You know what I mean? And listen, let me get my close up real quick. Hold on. When it comes time for this movie to look for budget for the second film, I want all of y'all who are like, yo, I need a second film. I need this and that. I'm going to need y'all to give a couple dollars. You know what I'm saying? Make believe the tides plate is coming around and you just don't, whatever you can afford, whatever you can do, because at the end of the day, this is what allows people to live their dreams, work their dreams, and be able to do what they love for a living. You know what I mean? And it everybody eats off of this. You know what I mean? So all it takes for you to, even if you can't give money, we're not going to hold you hostage like some people that have recently done that. We're not going to go there. But all I'm going to say is, even if you can't do that, just share it. You know what I mean? Talk about it. That's free. Like you know how free it is to just hit the share button? You share these crazy stories all over the world. Share a good story. Share somebody who you believe in today, okay? At the end of the day, that's literally all it takes. So just hit that share button. My bad. Yeah, like I said, I'll be going on a rant, bro.
No, bro. Like I appreciate that, man. And then just the last thing that I would add is, especially like on Amazon Prime, like our movie is for sale. You can rent it for like $3 or you can buy it for 10. I would definitely say buy it for 10 because you can watch it as many times you want, and you get the full 4K version opposed to a 2K version. And then you also get to give it a rating and a review. And those rating and reviews are extremely important to us because that lets Prime know, like, look, they got at least 50 ratings and reviews. That means like they got something really going on here. So if I can get 50 people to rate that thing, I think that'll be really good. So I just need one person, to say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and get his brother a good rating, and a good honest review to get people to watch it, man. That goes a long way, man. That's better than giving money sometimes, because that really lets Prime know that it's time for them to start promoting the films themselves. Like they won't promote it that without that. They probably would, but not to the point where if they get those comments. So please do that. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, Manny, for having me. And yeah, man.
Also, man, listen, thanks again for coming on by, bro. Sharing this with your community, sharing your vision with the world and on Tubi, man. I can't wait to see what you do in the future. Again, you got a lot going on, bro, and I see the success that is coming your way. So just keep doing what you're doing, bro, and everything will fall into place, bro. Trust me. I firmly believe that.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for the kind words, man. Much love. God bless, man.
For sure. I'm gonna do my outro real quick, Let me do my last rant of the day. Hey guys, listen. I appreciate you guys for coming on by, watching the stream, being a part of this interview, man. It's people like you who watch the videos, who watch the movies, who make suggestions, who allow me to kind of do this sort of thing. I would love to do more of this. So if you're watching on the replay, leave a comment down below of a movie you want me to do a review on, or somebody, if you are a director or a writer and you want to be on behind the stream, hey, hit me up. I'm down to work with you. I'm down to collaborate. Even actors and actresses, bro. Let's make more positive, notes when it comes to, or just positive feelings when it comes to doing Tubi movies, when it comes to just Tubi in general, or the indie filmmaking in general, okay? We are all trying to do what we love for a living, and that takes living in that moment and being a human being that just has the grace and kindness to allow someone to use your platform to talk to you, or this is just having this conversations like we're doing right now. Yes, I am going off on a rant, but listen, I am Uncle Manny, okay? Life is too short to watch bad movies, so let me take care of that for you, all right?